In this video, we're going to be discussing the 3 phases of game that you need to learn, implement, and master in order for you to get a girlfriend. Now, if you don't know me, my name's Nayar, and I help single South Asian men increase their sexual market value in the dating market so they can get the dating life that they truly desire. So, the 3 phases, we're gonna break this down into phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3, which is also known as the back end phase. Phase 1 is the phase that you need in order to get leads. Just like in any business, you need leads coming in. In the case of women and dating, you need some source where you're having girls consistently come into your life, right? So the 3 most popular, common ways in order to get leads in terms of women is what phase 1 is all about. And these 3 common ways are dating app matches, so Tinder, Bumble, Hinge, cold approach. Basically, if you're not familiar, it's seeing a stranger in the supermarket, coffee shop, sitting on a park bench, seeing a stranger maybe just on her way somewhere, stopping her real quick, having a conversation, exchanging numbers. And then the last main way, social circle, right? So meeting women, say through club sports, intramural sports, meeting women even at like parties, events, through other friends, right? This is really what social circle is all about. So it could be fitness classes, clubs, friend groups, right? But overall, these are the 3 main ways that encompass phase 1 on how you get leads, how you really start the process of dating. So for dating apps, it's going to be match, ultimately leading to you getting the girl's number, or Instagram, doing a little bit of text game in order to secure the date, right? Cold approach, you get the girl's number, a little bit of text game, go on the date. Social circle, right? Same thing. Number or Instagram, little bit of text game, get the date, right? So this is all phase 1. It's really just lead generation, right? Lead generation, getting girls into your life, into your funnel, kickstarting the dating process, all before you hop into phase 2, which is when the actual dating process begins. Now, one quick point I want to make about phase 1, it's so important you master your sexual market value. The higher your sexual market value is, the more you've worked on yourself through self-improvement, fitness, going to the gym, fashion, dressing better, social skills, money even, your status. The more higher your sexual market value is, the easier it's just going to be to get matches on dating apps based on your physique, fashion, style, quality of photos. The easier it's going to get, girls' numbers, getting girls' numbers if you have solid social skills and you look good, you present yourself well, right? The easier it's going to be from a status standpoint with social circle game, meeting women, the more, people, connections, so on and so forth. So a little bit off topic, and I'll do another video in the future on sexual market value and the most efficient ways to raise your sexual market value. But for the purposes of this video, phase 1 is just lead generation, and the higher sexual market value is going to be, the easier it's going to be to get more leads into your dating life, into your dating funnel, to really start the process of phase 2, where you actually start going on the dates. So let's hop into phase 2. Phase 2 is when you secure the number, you do a little bit of text game, you set up the date. The second you go on that first date, that is when phase 2 starts, right? Think of phase 2 as a timeline, right? It's really just the dating timeline that you're gonna go through, maybe 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, until you get to that ultimate goal of getting a girlfriend. So again, starting from date number 1 onward, that starts the process of phase 2. So a couple things I want to discuss about phase two. Like I said earlier, when you're going on all these dates in order to get a girlfriend, I want to stress that you really got to be vetting the girl out during this dating timeline, the first couple of months. I do not recommend hopping into a relationship until you have dated the girl for at least 2 to 3 months, minimum. 2 to 3 months is a sufficient amount of time to go on a ton of dates, right? Assuming you're going on, say, 1 date a week with this girl. What is that? At least 8 dates in total, right? 8 dates, 8 experiences at a minimum of hanging out with the girl consistently week after week. That's a solid amount of time to get to know her to get you, to really catch any red flags. It's about 2 months. I'd say to be safe, give it 3 months, but at a bare minimum, dating her consistently for at least 2 months, assuming you're going on at least 1 date a week, right? It could be a little bit longer, it could be even a tiny bit shorter, right? If you're going on, say, 2 dates a week. Now, if you're somebody who's hanging out with this girl, say, honestly, 2, 3, 4 times a week, honestly, number one, get a life, okay? You clearly don't have much going on. If you're in your younger 20s, leveling up, you honestly shouldn't have the time to be going on 3, 4 dates every single week. Phase 2 is very critical, right? It's basically the main phase because during this timeline, say around, date 3, date 4, right? You really gauge her interest. Dating a girl, you hanging out with her, things tend to phase out sometimes around date 3 or 4, right? If you're not keeping her interested, you don't have any mystery to you. So that's why I always say that you shouldn't be hanging out with the girl multiple times a week before she becomes your girlfriend because you just lose that mysteriousness vibe. She gets tired of hanging out with you, seeing your face all the time. You get tired even of hanging out with her. There's just no mystery element. That's gone. You need a little bit of that bad boy, mysterious vibe to you, right? You can't just, be so predictable all the time. You can't just be wanting to hang out with her multiple times a week, week after week. It just shows a lack of abundance. It shows that you don't have a life. It shows that you're always available. These are all things that turn a woman off and she's gonna lose interest. So my best advice for phase 2 is keep that element of interest, continue on with your life, staying busy, leveling up in your life. But at the same time, when it comes to dating that one girl, stick to 1 date a week with that chick. No more. I think 1 date a week is perfectly fine, especially in the beginning parts of this timeline, right? Up until you get to, say, date number 4. Then after date number 4, right, when you start going to dates 5, 6, 7 and onward, then it's okay to step it up to maybe 2 times a week at most, hanging out with her. But the main point here is before she becomes your girlfriend, do not be, hanging out with her all day, every day, 3, 4 times a week. It's too much. Have that bad boy, mysterious vibe. Live a life, be busy, be productive, always be leveling up. The more you're just giving her more and more attention during phase 2, right? The more risks there is, for her to eventually become your girlfriend. You're just risking it. She's not going to be as intrigued. She's going to get tired. Calm your horses. 1 date a week is perfectly fine on that one single girl. Depending on how many leads you actually get, how many girls, are coming into your funnel, into your life, right? 2 girls, 3 girls that you're dating simultaneously. The same thing applies for each girl that you get into your funnel. You really don't want to be hanging out with her for more than once a week up until she becomes your girlfriend. Now, I want to discuss the timeline a little bit more when it comes to phase 2. Dates number 1 and 2 on this timeline for you to get a girlfriend, keep them more low investment. We're talking, say, drinks at a rooftop lounge, grabbing a coffee, going for a walk in the city if she's not, say, available in the evening, right? Doing like an activity-based date, bowling, mini golf, Some type of like fun activity or some type of low investment activity. Not that doesn't break the bank. Now, the important thing here that you don't want to do during, dates number 1, 2 is doing the whole dinner date, right? So no dinner dates for 1 and 2, right? No dinner dates for dates number 1 and 2. You don't know her that well yet. Why are you dishing out $100 for date number 1, date number 2, going on a dinner date? She has to earn dinner. You need to get to know her a little bit. You need to have vetted her out a little bit more before you're out there spending, say, $70, $80 on a dinner date, right? So date number 1 and 2, lower investment, keep it chill, right? Drinks at a nice rooftop lounge, a romantic rooftop lounge, an activity-based date, bowling, mini golf, axe throwing, fun dates, right? But also low investment. So that should be the premise of dates number 1 and 2. We could go even deeper into this when it comes to flirting. You need to be in environments that make it easier for you to flirt and escalate. So even if you guys don't, hook up after date number 2 or date number 1, it's not necessarily over, but as long as there was good banter, good vibes, flirting, and you're on the right trajectory. What I like about, mini golf, right, is you can flirt, right? It's a fun activity. You can tease her about her golf swing, come up close to her, help her with her golf swing. You can put your arm around her as you guys are walking from hole to hole, right? Now, obviously, if she shows signs of backing off or bad body language, then yeah, obviously you back off. She's not ready for that. She might not even have that interest for you yet. But the premise here is all these dates should make it easy for you to flirt, escalate, right? That is what builds up that romantic attraction. That is what's going to get her linked onto you. That's also the problem with doing dinner dates, especially very early on. It's almost like an interviewing back and forth, asking questions. That's not original. She's done that probably so many times, especially as an attractive girl with so many other dudes. Make the date fun. You guys should be on your feet, right? Whether it be walking, sitting at a park bench after the walk, you putting your arm around her, doing a fun activity, making her laugh, teasing her, about her golf swing, flirting with her, maybe helping her with her golf swing, right? And the mini golf course, putting your arm around her as you guys walk from hole to hole, right? Even drinks at a bar, a nice romantic rooftop bar, right? The scenery around you in the evening at nighttime, as you guys see like the nice skyline, city skyline, it just brings about the romantic vibe. So again, always romantic vibes on the dates. Stop doing dinner first dates, especially early on when you don't know anything about the girl. Doesn't create the romantic vibe and you're just dishing out unnecessary cash for no reason super early on. Until you guys start getting more serious, say towards dates number 4, 5, 6, right? This square right here, 4, 5, 6, 7, that's when you can start branching into the more dinner dates type of scenarios. That is my advice for phase 2, the dating timeline. Make sure 2 to 3 months at least of vetting, going on dates consistently before you even think about, the girlfriend, her becoming your girlfriend. Now, real quick, speaking of dating, top link in the description is my South Asian Warriors school, helping single South Asian men level up their dating life. So if you're struggling with your dating life, getting more dates, you need more help on, say, dating apps, cold approach, just getting more abundance of women into your lifestyle, click that first link in the description. Check out the school community, South Asian Warriors, helping single South Asian men just like you level up your dating life. Phase number 3 is going on simultaneously as phase number 2 is going on. It's going on at the same time point as phase number 2. It's basically the back end of what's going on, you could say, behind the scenes on the dating timeline. So basically, phase number 3, it's going to encompass these key elements. It will be going on simultaneously during phase number 2, the dating timeline, all before she becomes your girlfriend. So phase number 3, how's the sexual chemistry like between you guys? How are you like in bed? Is there sexual chemistry? Dating is always about that sex positive environment in addition to the romantic vibes and having that connection, right? So for the purposes of YouTube, right, you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. How's your bedroom game? How's the sexual chemistry? Good intimacy? Or are you messing up? Do you not know what you're doing? Do you not have a lot of experience? And a lot of women aren't going to tell you this up front, but the reason a lot of guys can't get to the girlfriend stage during the dating timeline is because of things going on in the back end phase. Guys lack the sexual chemistry. They don't have enough experience. They don't know what they're doing, right? And honestly, this is something that comes over time. The more girls you get into your life, the more girls you date, you build up that experience sexually. Now, there are a lot of other factors depending obviously on your personal religious beliefs, her personal religious beliefs. There's absolutely nothing wrong if she's a virgin or she's the more religious type, right? That's completely fine. And girls like that are kind of the exception to the whole sexual chemistry thing, right? So I actually recommend, if you're a guy that doesn't have a lot of sexual experience, you've say never been intimate, you don't know what you're doing that much in the bedroom, you don't have much experience, the girls that also, are more holistic, religious, even virgins, they might honestly be a better girl for you to date, especially in the long run, right? In order to become your girlfriend. Now, again, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that you can't date girls who are more experienced if you don't have that much experience. But this is also something, a train of thought to think about. Her experience in the bedroom versus your experience in the bedroom. How's the sexual compatibility like? Now, not every girl is going to be this shallow, but there are girls that they don't sense the sexual chemistry. They will end things in this dating timeline, right? So again, this is a little bit in depth, but it's something that you need to be aware of at the very least when it comes to phase 3. The next thing, again, on the back end phase is the excitement factor on her end, right? How excited is she when she's around you? Is it, again, just boring, mundane, back and forth conversations? Or does she actually enjoy her time being around you? Usually what happens when it comes to the dating timeline, around date 3 onward, she starts reaching out more and more to you. She starts, suggesting plans. She starts wanting to hang out with you more and more. Now, this could vary from girl to girl. There have been girls in the past that I've dated after, say, one date, they're texting me constantly all day, every day. They're even wanting to hang out. They reach out to hang out. But for the purposes of this and keeping it more generalized, normally what I've found from my dating experiences, talking to other guys I've worked with and clients and friends just in general, usually after the first couple dates, after the first 2 dates, it's either a make or break, right? Now, if you have a horrible first date, right, there was no romantic connection, forget about all this back end phase shit, right? It's not even gonna matter. But if you have a successful first date, she wants to hang out with you again, usually after the second date, you really start seeing that investment level. If you've gone on date number 2, even date number 3, and it's just constantly you having to hit her up and set the plans, then honestly, you can forget about it, right? The excitement level just isn't there, Move on to somebody else. But after the first 2 dates, you really start to see things transition. You really start to see her engaging more and more. This could happen sometimes after date number 1. This could happen, after date number 2. But definitely after date number 2, though, you start really seeing that transition, the excitement on her end really skyrocket. If you don't see that excitement on her end, and you've gone past date number 2 and you have to suggest plans for date number 3, date number 4, it's not worth your time. She's not worth your time. Move on to somebody else. So more stuff in terms of phase 3, the back end phase. This is important. Is she providing value into your life? Is she somebody that you can imagine a future with? By the time you've really gone through this dating timeline, right? Does she support your goals? Do you guys get along for the most part? Now, yeah, every now and then arguments could definitely happen. You guys don't see eye to eye on everything, which is just human nature. But for the most part, does she support your goals? Does she respect you? Does she believe in you? Does she see that vision? Or doesn't she see that vision? Does she think that what you're doing is completely useless? Or even just is hanging out with her slowly becoming a headache? She should want to go on the dates with you. You should want to go on the dates with her. It shouldn't feel like a headache always hanging out with her. You shouldn't feel like you're being forced to do anything, forced to hang out with her, forced to be on FaceTime calls. Nothing should feel forced. And the same thing is going to really go on her end too, right? She's going to start thinking more and more, how much value is this guy providing, to her life? It works on both ways in that sense. So really just the value. Is she providing value into your life? Or are you feeling, more stressed, more anxious, just tired? You don't want to hang out with her? That's another thing that you got to think about on the back end during the phase 2 dating timeline. Which goes on to the next point, like I said earlier, how much investment is on her end? Who's planning the dates? Is it more so you? Is it more so her? Has it gone to a position where she's reaching out a lot more, starting to ask you to hang out after date number 2? Or is it still you always planning the dates? And last but not least, your text game, right? Texting is going to be big throughout both phase 1 and phase 2. Phase 1, do you have at least basic enough text game, make some small talk and then set up the date to get to phase 2? Or do you not have text game and say you're on the dating apps, messaging back and forth again and again for, days on end, right? What is your text game like? On dating apps, again, 4 or 5 messages back and forth, plan the date, set up the date with her, right? Then get the number, get off the app. Same thing with cold approach. How's your text game like? Is she even responding to your texts after the approach interaction? A lot of times, she could have just given you a pity number. A lot of times it could even just be your text game, you texting cringy shit, right? So text game, honestly, throughout all of this process, phase 1, phase 2, it's going to be the things behind the scenes, the back end phase, how you're texting her. How often are you texting her? Are you bombarding her phone with texts, right? Are you texting, every single day, every other day? Are you at least leaving a little bit of mysteriousness? If she's not your girlfriend, why the hell are you texting her all day, every day? That's stupid. Again, like I said earlier in this video, leave that element of mystery. Be that guy. Become that guy that has a lot of stuff going on in your life, leveling up with your career. Have a life outside of just, always bombarding her phone, trying to set up dates with her. Have an abundant life. She should never be the main focus. So texting, until she becomes your girlfriend, you don't have to text her all day, every day. Now, if she's reaching out to you, texting you, and a lot of girls, they do this too. If they really sense that connection after the first date, or even like prior to the first date sometimes, right? If you guys really hit it off, or she really thinks you're attractive just off your pictures on the dating app or something, she might just, keep responding, carrying out conversations herself. It really varies from girl to girl. But the overall thing you need to realize and get through your head with texting, the beginning stages of texting in phase 1, the main purpose is going to be to set up that date. And then after you've gone on that date, right, transitioning again to date number 2, 3, small talk a little bit within, the space that when you guys are not on the dates throughout the week. But when it comes to the small talk, again, it's just, you don't need to text her all day, every day, right? If a conversation, say, comes to an abrupt end, you can't think of anything to message back, or she's starting to keep it shorter and sweeter, it's okay to wait a couple days and then text her. It's okay to just like a message and don't send her another text for a couple days. It's okay to, pull away for a little bit, right? It's okay to not respond immediately or within that same day even. Until, you guys get more serious, boyfriend and girlfriend, those are all the things you just really need to keep in mind when it comes to text game. So with all of that being said, I help single South Asian men level up their dating life, increase their sexual market value. If you're a single South Asian guy who's struggling with your dating life, click the link in the description and join my school community, South Asian Warriors, helping single South Asian men level up their dating life. Like and subscribe, drop a comment below. I'll catch you in the next video.